Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Carrie Waterman and this is the Yoga Moves Us Yin class. Thanks so much for joining me today, wherever you're joining in from. We're just going to give about a minute for people to join, and I'll also join in on my computer so I can follow you along. So just take a moment to get yourself settled. If you would like to use any props like a bolster or a block or 2 blocks, you can get those now, and feel free to use them in the class. Just gonna log in here. You are welcome to also add in any comments in the next minute or so. If there's any postures you want to work on or anything you want to share or tell me about that's going on that we can kind of work on together. Shoulders. Okay. Yeah, I agree. So let's go ahead and get started in a comfortable seated position. And I did provide a playlist. It should be in the Yoga Moves Us stories. I think it says Yin, Yoga Moves Us, and today's date. You're welcome to play music, that playlist, or a playlist of your own, or no music at all. It's up to you, and feel free to fast forward songs if they're not serving you. So let's just sit up nice and tall and come together here. Got shoulders and neck, so we'll get to those shortly. Just begin to breathe in and out of the nose. Keeping the eyes closed. And then just kind of begin to loosen the body a little. Let the neck be heavy, let the chin drop to the chest. And then let's take a deep breath in together. Hold it at the top. And then exhale out the mouth. 2 more like that. Breathe in deeply. Hold it there. And breathe out. Let it go. One more time, we'll breathe in, and when you hold the breath in here, try and engage the bandhas through the body. So even though we'll be working through yin postures, in all of them there's going to be these tiny micro adjustments in the posture that you can bring more awareness to. So let's do that one more time and really feel the body engaged as you breathe in and hold the breath in. Take a breath in, hold, engage, and totally release. Nice. Let's again come to dropping the chin to the chest. And from here, just take the shoulders straight back, getting a little more opening. If you want even more, you can clasp the hands on the back of the head and gently push the head into the hands and the hand into the head. Release the chin and the hands, and then roll the right ear over to the right, and the left arm will stick out to the left. Breathe. Again, you can stay right here, or you can play with walking the hands on the fingertips, maybe a little towards the back. Tilting the head. Or even using the right hand to encourage the stretch. And be gentle with yourself, gentle with your body. A few more breaths here. And when you're ready, switch sides. Left ear to left shoulder, right arm out to the right. Keep sitting up nice and tall. And if you're, we're trying to identify sensation here, so you're also welcome to kind of touch the areas. I know a lot of us who like massage and assisting have not been maybe assisted or massaged, so feel free to explore the shapes with your hands as well. And gently release back to center, chin to chest. We'll just do some neck rolls here. So right ear, right shoulder. We'll do 5 times in this direction, and then reverse in the opposite. And take your time. When you're done, come back to center, sitting up nice and tall. Just lengthen the spine forward here. So we're going to really push the spine forward on the breath in. And exhale. Arch the spine. You can kind of lean back. Inhale. It's almost like cat and cow. Exhale. One more. And exhale. I'm just going to do a few more kind of motion-oriented things just to kind of get into that soft tissue. So we'll bring the tips of the fingers to the shoulders here, and then you're going to bring the elbows towards you in front of you, touching them up and around. 5 times one direction, 5 times the other. Again, taking your time. Gently release. And then we're just going to bring the right arm across the chest, hook it with the left hand where it's comfortable. Try and, keep the shoulder back a bit and see where the stretch feels good in the right shoulder. You can bring the arm down or bring it up as well. One more breath here. And then gently release the arm. Shake out the shoulders a little bit. And then bringing the left arm over the front of the body. And Last breath here. And then gently release. Again, just kind of shake out the shoulders. There's a lot of tissue in there around the rotator cuff. And then we'll come onto our knees if this is comfortable, sitting in hero's pose. You can place a block underneath your butt as well if you like, for a little more comfort here. Just beginning to stretch out the tops of the feet a little bit, hands to shins. Again, sitting up nice and tall. Just taking note of the body structure. And take note of what's going on inside you today. A moment to think about what's going on in the world around us today. Just taking note of the past. The ancestors of all of us. And then using this opportunity, this time, to be in the present moment. To be aware. So that we can make clear action plans for the future. So let's continue with the shoulders here and kind of moving with these ideas through the practice. I think sometimes in yoga we try and say that these feelings or emotions pass by us and we don't have to connect with them, but sometimes we do. Sometimes we really have to dive in to the discomfort. So let's continue with the shoulders and opening up here. Let's lift the right arm up and release the elbow with the hand coming to the back. You can take the left arm and just reach for the right elbow here. Again, find a place where you can close your eyes and connect. Okay, and encourage the posture by making sure you're not kind of rounding forward, but that you're sitting up nice and tall, pressing the head into the arm. And if you'd like a little more, you can take the left arm behind, interlace the hands in cow face arms. And one more breath here. And then gently release. Just kind of worm your way out of these postures. You can stick out your tongue. There's a lot to let go of. And a lot of space to clear to move forward. And then we'll move to the left arm, bringing it up and over the head, clasping left elbow with the right hand, and sitting up nice and tall. One final breath here. And then gently release. Again, just release in any manner that feels good. And then you can lean your weight forward a bit and remove the block if you have one. We're going to come into a toe stand. So you're going to tuck your toes under. I'll show you front ways and sideways. So you're basically sitting on your heels. And this is what it would look like. And then reach down and make sure all the toes are getting a nice stretch here. Compression in the front of the ankles. Sometimes the baby toe likes to sneak out. And then from here, you'll begin to feel sensation. So to turn it down, you can lean forward, or to turn it up, you can tuck the toes more and lean the weight back, sitting up nice and tall. And 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, gently begin to crawl the hands forward. Lift up on the toes and place the heels down. Just sit back on the toes. We're going to do a counter stretch here. So you can lean back into the hands. Lift the knees off the ground, roll on the feet if this is comfortable. Accessing the liver meridians. Nice. And then gently crawl the hands forward, come into tabletop pose here. We'll inhale into cat. And then you'll just maintain cat pose, taking a couple breaths here. Both inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in, breathing out. One more breath cycle. And on the exhale, curl. Stay here now, breathing in, breathing out. Breath in and out. 2 more. Next inhale, come back, arch the spine. Just shift the hips a little side to high and begin to step the knees out a little wider. I'm going to come into tadpole, and actually eventually into frog. So you might want to come to the side of your mat. Get shifted now before we begin to go down. So tadpole, your knees will be a little wider than child's pose. Bring the feet together, walk the knees out a little more, and then lay yourself down and release the body. You can deepen the posture by kind of walking the hips back using the force of the hands if you like. And you can also always use a bolster or a block below the chest to rest as well. You want to use the breath nice and long to go through all these little pathways in the body, all the little traffic jams in the shoulders and along the vertebrae and the hips. And these postures are very symbolic as we bow our heads. We bow our heads to the earth and to the ancestors. And then slowly we're going to come into frog here if you'd like. If you'd like to remain as a tadpole, that's also more than welcome. Otherwise, if you know frog, you can find your way into it. But you're basically going to take the feet and turn them out. And I'm going to grab my bolster. Turn the feet out. So we're kind of looking for right angles here at the angle at the knee and at the ankle, the knee, and the hip. And then coming forward, kind of keeping these hips in line, you can begin to walk the knees out to maybe, 70, 80%. And then you can stay on your forearms or use a bolster to relax and come down a bit. It can be quite engaging, so go in easy. So the dials here to dial it down would be to shift the weight forward. So you take out that right angle in the hip, or to turn it up a bit, you're gonna push the hips straight back and engage there. You're welcome to even little micro movement in the hips before settling in. Stay here, stay in the edge of comfort. I think a lot of us in the past few weeks have been thinking more, at least as I speak for myself, about a lot of uncomfortable things, a lot of challenging conversations with family and friends and children. But these conversations are a bit like these postures, I think you might have heard this phrase. A Yin Yoga posture begins when you want to get out of it. And that's kind of how I see some of these conversations, is that the moment they become uncomfortable is the moment both parties need to stay. So stay a little longer. Breathe. And just like these conversations, we have the privilege to come out a little bit and come back in. So continue to come back in. Just about maybe 20 more seconds here. Nice. And I'll just continue with this analogy. Just like uncomfortable postures and conversations, sometimes they are a bit challenging to exit out of. So leave them with grace. For this one, if you have your own preferred method, you can. Otherwise, I like to scoot the weight forward, bring the knees together a bit, and then gently kind of snake the hips back into a child's pose. And again, rest here. If you are craving a little bit more shoulder stretching, you can tuck the right arm under here. If you did tuck your right hands, then you can switch over to the left. I mean, really anything you want to do here. If you want to come back up and have some more movement, feel free. I've been feeling fairly energized, so can also wrap this right hand or the back hand onto the lower back and kind of give yourself a little self-assist. And then slowly coming out of this. Let's come back onto hands and knees here for a minute. Can shift the hips a little, some figure eights. So we've done a lot of compression along the ankles and then this hip socket, which is also along the liver meridian. So now let's begin to kind of open those up a little bit, just to balance it out. So we're gonna just push just gently back into a downward facing dog. It might feel nice here to pedal out the feet a little. And then when you're ready, gently step your right foot in between the hands and lower the left knee on the mat. You can just begin to rock here a little, really accentuating that compression in the right hip. And then bringing the hands up to the knee here. Feeling a lengthening across the left hip flexor. You know, the arms can also do an arm exercise here if you like. You can cross in front, you can interlace the hands behind you. Lots of options. The main thing I'm trying to target here is this left hip flexor, which will kind of tend to drop to the left. So really try and bring the left and right hip in line with each other and then lengthen up to feel this stretch. I like to even accentuate it by bringing the left arm up and a little bit over and back. You're welcome to, again, a little rocking. And one more breath here. And gently release the hands. Let's extend the left leg long, just coming into a runner's lunge here. And again, any kind of movement you like, just exploring these sockets. And then bring the left knee back down, top of the left foot. The hands come inside of the right foot. You can stay here, or you can walk down onto the forearms. And breathe. Opportunity for a block here as well. And you're welcome to stay here, or coming into another variation is to come onto the left forearm, squaring it a bit, and really lean over to the left. You're on the pinky toe side of the left foot, and then you can reach the arm up or hold on to the right knee, getting into the outer right hip a little more. Coming back into your lizard and pushing back up into a runner's lunge and back to a downward dog, pedaling the feet out. And we'll step the left foot forward and drop the left knee down. Sorry, right knee down. And just beginning to open up in that right hip flexor, just feeling around. It's good to close the eyes so you feel the sensation, using the inner eyes. And then we'll lift the hands up, coming onto the left knee. Again, now kind of shifting the left hip down, right hip, nice in line, like so strong and aligned, engaging the bandhas to hold you there in that center. So yin is not about like, let me go to sleep, just blah. It's really actually this very stationary engagement to get to these joints and ligaments. So there's quite a bit of focus. Take it seriously. I'm just kidding. So again, if we want to accentuate this right hip, we're going to reach the right arm up and over a bit. You can use the left hand on the back. Oh yes, feels good. Again, so we use the breath and send oxygen to the fascia, to the bone. Send breath to the soul. And then gently release the hands. This time they'll come inside of the left foot. Sorry, we'll come into a runner's lunge first, so hands on either side. Again, just kind of rocking and feeling around there. And then lowering the right knee. Hands inside of the left foot. Staying here or coming down onto the forearms. So little micro movements here. Just notice the difference of allowing the left leg to come out, which is fine, or also really hugging into that center line. Sometimes I like to hook underneath and then clasp my hands to kind of hold it in place. And then if you want to move into this open wing, you're going to roll to the right here. And reach up or grab onto that left knee. And then gently release. And come back. Press back into a downward facing dog. And then gently lower the knees down. And come back into a child's pose here. Bend at the elbows, hands in prayer position to the back of the neck. And gently release the hands. We're going to come into a twisted child's pose. So you can come up on your knees and then bring your knees, both of them, over to the left. So you're kind of sitting like this. And then you're going to try and face the chest down forward onto the mat. So take your time and feel where those tightness angles are and see if you can have both hands and begin to lay down. So obviously this is going to be easier the further you are away from your knees, and then the more compressed this twist is, the more you'll feel it in the spine. So find your place, find your pillow if that's your preference. And then feel where the resistance is, so you can use your right and left elbows to kind of keep squaring you down. You can kind of think of the chair twist when you come down and put your left elbow outside of your right knee in a vinyasa class. It's like that, but it's just we don't have to do as much of the work here. So keep tucking those right ribs under if you can. Just a few more breaths here. And gently begin to come back up. And we will switch to the other side. So the knees come over to the right. Body comes down to the left. And then beginning to work your way down onto your chest. You don't have to come all the way down, even just a little bit of a twist can feel good, upright. The other kind of tightening aspect to this posture is to bring your knees together. So there'll be a tendency in this posture for the right knee to come forward. So if you bring those two in line, it will also deepen the twist. Kind of actually laying right on the liver right now that we've been working on this meridian. A vital, essential organ. Helps us process, detoxify. And get rid of bad things. Gently begin to crawl back up. Coming back to center. And just sitting back on the knees for a moment here, sitting up nice and tall. And I just wanted to check in and see how everyone's doing, if there's any postures that you want to do before we start to wind down. Otherwise, you can come from here and just swing your legs around, or if you have a little bit of fire and energy and want to do this transition, you can place your hands down, lift the legs, and then come through. So we'll be sitting forward. Okay, we're just gonna keep going. No requests. Come into a nice forward fold, where again, we can kind of bow our heads, to the lessons of the past. I think the degree of trouble in our communities right now is long lasting, and a great deal the responsibility of people of my ancestry. And so I'm coming to terms with those things and, learning. So we send love to ourselves and we send love to the work that we can do in the future. As we bow, take a deep breath in and fold over the legs. And begin to tap in to find your strength to face challenging things, your strength to do what you need to do. Can also relax into that a bit with the pillow. If you're still eager to open up the shoulders, you can hold at the elbows in the back. Flex the feet to engage a bit more. And breathe. Take 2 more breaths here. And then gently begin to come back up. Just bend the knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. You can actually first kind of open up the chest, pull yourself up, and then hug and release the forehead to the knees. Full compression of the body here. And feel yourself root down through the tailbone. And feel the knees press into the temples. And squeeze for 1 more breath in. Fill up the back and a breath out. And gently, now you can kind of melt. Extend the legs forward and come to laying on your back. And feel the earth hold you. We'll just come into Supta Baddha Konasana for a few minutes here. Bringing the soles of the feet together. And bringing the hands to the hips, to the heart and to the belly. Or there is another mudra, the triple diamond. You can bring your hands into a diamond. This is good for releasing anger and channeling out what we've kind of stimulated through the liver meridian. So bringing the thumbs then to the crown chakra at the top of the head. And so your legs, arms, and hands begin a triple diamond. I am angry, and anger is an emotion along the liver meridians. I am frustrated and I am scared. But the liver meridian also carries with it the emotion of kindness and love and tenderness and caring and cleaning. And anger and kindness. I am aware of these emotions within me. And I am aware. I can channel my anger and frustration into love and kindness and action. If your hands are above your head, press into the crown chakra and then gently move the hands to the belly or to the heart in place of love. And tapping into the power of love. To think and fight and act, to change. And to not be fragile. And gently bring the knees together. Just going to come into kind of a low level bridge here, and you're just going to do some hip circles to kind of loosen up this tissue in the front hip flexors. It may feel or look a little funny, but it can feel really nice stretching those out. You can go into full bridge if you want. And then lowering down, bringing the hands. We'll come into fish pose. So extend the feet long. Come up onto the elbows. And tip the head over and stay here. Really puff up the chest. Feel the throat chakra, Jalandhara Bandha, open up. The tailbone and the crown touching the earth at the same time. Take a deep breath in. Open the mouth, stick out the tongue. Two more. Lion's breath. Breathe in. And gently tuck the chin, release down, wiggle, jiggle, whatever you have to do to get into Shavasana. Press through the feet. Maybe tuck the wings under and rest. Feel the body below you. And stay right where you are in your space. Tap into your awareness. When you're ready, gently begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. And then roll over onto one side. Bringing movement back in after reflection. Make your way up to a seated position, sitting up nice and tall. Thank you so much for all joining me in this Yin class. Send me feedback. You can find me on Instagram at CarrieWaterman22 as well if you have any questions or comments. Otherwise, we'll say namaste together, which is really, you know, the light in me acknowledges and sees the light in you. And with that, I think we can get really far if we all start to act that out. So with that, namaste everyone. Namaste Sacramento.